centralized government and total non-whistleblower protection so that the power structure can burn good people and cover things up. That's why they want total centralization. That's why they don't want any jurisdictions. They want one giant global system controlling the federal government that controls our local systems so they can be above the law. And they're trying now in the internet age, because they can't hide this stuff, to just throw it in our face. Okay, the government does launder drug money, but only to track it. Okay, we do ship guns to Mexico, but we didn't mean to. Okay, we do grow the opium in Afghanistan, but let's just not discuss it any further. Okay, DynCorp and Halliburton do kidnap children and women worldwide and take them to slave camps and sell them, but let's just not discuss that now. Okay, we are putting radioactive isotopes in your drinking water, but let's just move on. That's the point of what's going on here. Hey, I'm about to commit a federal crime right here on air. You're watching us on Prisonplanet.tv. I'm about to drink whole milk from a dairy in San Antonio. Oh, that's real milk. It's like at the store now, it's weird. Like the beef costs twice as much if it says grass-fed. It's like abnormal to feed cows grass, which is what the only thing we're supposed to eat, by the way. They're arresting people who produce raw milk and those that buy it. They have year-and-a-half-long million-dollar stings on Amish. You know what? Governments that say this is a crime, they're the criminals. Governments that say the people are slaves of the state, they're criminals. You're illegitimate. And you see, it has to get absurd before people wake up. The system wants to be absurd. They want to grope your children and strip search 85-year-old women in wheelchairs. Because if they can get away with that, they can get away with anything. And that's what they're doing. They're training the general public, who's not criminal, the 95% of the population, that you are criminal, that you've done something wrong, that you're going to be inspected, that you're going to be searched. The government, it's all secretive. It's not supposed to be looked into, but you are bad. And you notice this pattern. It's a handbook. When they get caught groping people, they say, we're not groping. When they get caught strip searching old ladies, they say, we're not doing it. And then later they're asked, well, what are you doing? Well, when we take your clothes off, we don't call it a strip search. See, it's all lawyer games. Because they found in psychological warfare, if they just deny they're doing it, even when you have video of it, it then becomes a debate about whether or not they're doing it. Instead of, should they be doing it? And why do they claim the authority to do it? You see, the controllers of this planet, they study human psychology. And instead of trying to get people to think and understand psychology so you're aware of it, the public's not really dumb. They are ignorant. They are intellectually lazy. They have been trained that they're not active participants in the world, that they're just spectators who sit back and are told what to do. In fact, I have a video clip I'm going to play later after I play the Colbert Report that made fun of myself, Jesse Ventura, and others. Bruce Fine, who we had on yesterday, constitutional lawyer, Ron Paul's head policy advisor. I want to play a clip of a part of a speech he gave. We are at the verge of despotism, where he describes this, where Nixon would order different prosecutors and people to get off the case. And they would say, no, we have a job. This is not the Third Reich. And then he would order their bosses to fire them, and they refused. And they would order their bosses, and they refused. But today, there's this idea of, well, if you are the president or you are my boss and you tell me to do something, I'll do it. And they've had university studies. They have the Stanford one. They've had several others where they found that over 90% of graduate students going for their PhD in psychology believe that in a prison environment, they were ordered by successive approximation to abuse verbally, then physically, and then to put people in chairs and electrocute them. And they hired actors and even ran some electricity into them in some cases to make it real. And 93% actually took the order to murder. To murder. Like, I should do a nightly news piece on this. I'm going to do one later in the week. And then we'll air it here on the radio where they even shot film of it, of some of the tests. And it's been duplicated over and over again. That when an authority figure, in fact, in one of the cases, it took the head of the psychology department to come in and say, yes, this is sanctioned, follow your order. And they said, all right, and flip the switch to kill people. But it's that 5 to 10%, depending on which culture you're in, who will not go under mind control, who will not do immoral things. We are the guardians of every society. And it is not a right, it is a duty. It is a duty to say no to things that are immoral. That's why they slowly get us to fantasize about doing evil. They show us Jack Bauer torturing people and the comic book good guys torture. And it's sexy, it's cool, it gets things done. It's wimpy not to do it, not to torture. They are trying to get you ready for all of this. The law enforcement publications, all of it. Evil controllers are trying to bend you and twist you so they can get you to come over to the dark side and not even know it. Still, other systems go out and actually find people that are on the dark side. All right, I'm going to go to your phone calls, then I'll get into North Korea making missile able to hit the U.S., astronomers discover biggest black hole ever. I want to get into some cool science news. NASA finds the first habitable zone planet. Pepper spray, tasers, and LRADs. What's behind the explosion of less lethal weapons for crowd control? Now 9 elderly people have come forward being strip searched. And the response of TSA is just to say, okay, yeah, we take your clothes off, but we weren't lying, though, when we said that's not a strip search. Just like they keep groping newborn babies. Comes out every week, them taking diapers off children, colostomy bags off people, stripping people down. That they settle cases, 2 of them in the last few months, where they made women pull their breast out, and then the men hit on them. So delusional that they're like, hey, can I have your number? You've got beautiful, beautiful body parts. I mean, stripping down naked, running through LAX screaming, I'm God. There have been 2 cases of the I'm God thing. One in Chicago, one in L.A. What type do you think wants to sit there all day around microwave ovens grabbing people's genitals? I mean, you could not pay me $10 million a year to do that. I mean, there's only one person I touch sexually, and that's my wife. It's not like I'm some wild animal just running around wanting to have sex. Sex is a big deal. It's about children. It's about creating a hybrid, entire genetic history, cross-splice clone. This is heavy-duty stuff. It's a sacred thing. And that's why airline pilots, veterans, you name it, would in many cases have to go home and would throw up. And the media was like, oh, get tough. Let the airline pilots have their genitals grabbed. What wimps. No, this was about their whole life being violated. Their whole life not having any freedom. Their whole life being over. America being dead. They're now prisoners. They now are people that have to go through a prison induction every day of having people grab their genitals. When they control a giant aircraft that's a huge weapon. But see, there's the idea. Oh, we have to have computer controls so the pilot can't be trusted, they're talking about now, that override the pilot. But then who programs the machines? How do you trust the machines? See, it's this idea that we're all guilty except for government. The big corrupt bankers, they can steal, they can bring drugs in, they can launder drug money, but they're good. They're untouchable. But all of us, airline pilots, you name it, we're trash. In fact, they were having the air marshals go through it, which was ridiculous. Oh, yes, let me check your gun and everything. Cuckoo. It's cuckoo. And then the ignorant public's like, why do air marshals have guns? Won't they shoot holes in the aircraft? No, morons. They have a type of safety slug that won't penetrate the plane, but will kill a person. It's basically a hollow, completely hollow plastic bullet. But why don't we just arm the pilots? Oh, we can't trust them with a firearm, but we can trust them with the aircraft. Idiots. But see, why did those men have to go home? Why did they throw up? Because it's such a violation. It's such a degradation of your rights. Your calls are straight ahead. Stay with us.
We all know.
All right, I'm going to take your calls in this segment and up until the bottom of the hour. Then we have Wayne Madsen popping in for about 20 minutes, and then it'll have to be in the third hour. I'm going to play clips of the Corbett Report, making fun of myself and Jesse Ventura. It is pretty funny, but we'll analyze how they use humor to discredit things. So it'll be very informative. And then also have a clip I'm going to play of, well, an expert breaking down exactly what's happening with this police state takeover situation. Bruce Fine, we are at the verge of despotism. I'm going to go to your calls here. Ray, Mike, Jay, Joe, Ed, here in just about 20 seconds. I just want to remind you we're running a special until Christmas. All of my films on DVD, 18 DVDs in the individual packages. A perfect way to get all your Christmas shopping done at once and then inform your families and friends and neighbors and support the InfoWar. You can also buy them and make copies of them. I want you to help spread the word. Infowars.com or call 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. It also comes with free bumper stickers and a citizen rule book on top of it with your order. And we also, on top of that, have 5.3 months or 44% off a yearly membership running until Christmas at prisonplanet.tv to get the nightly news and so much more. And again, your support also makes what we do here possible. And where can you say anybody's having a bigger effect fighting tyranny than this radio show, except for Ron Paul, and that's all symbiotic. Ray in California, thanks for holding. You're on the air.
I wanted to mention a couple of points. The first point is about Fukushima Daiichi. I think he might have made some errors concerning that. Have you considered Arnie Gunnarsson from Fairwinds?
I don't know who that is. It's like...
Go ahead.
No, you're on the air.
Arnie Gunnarsson from Fairwinds is a nuclear engineer, and Fairwinds is his website on the internet. And he used to be working as a vice president for a major utility, and he became a whistleblower.
Okay, I understand. Okay, great. I understand that his website's on the internet and everything. Tell me what he's saying. Tell me my errors. Tell me what I've done.
Okay, first of all, he has a video on YouTube that does a comparison and contrast between the Unit 1 explosion and the Unit 3 explosion. And he says Unit 1 explosion was a deflagration, and Unit 3 explosion was a detonation. And he goes on to say that it was only the Unit 3 fuel pool that went up, not the Unit 3 reactor.
Well, I've had a whole bunch of people a lot of times call in and say they disagree with me, and then I don't know what they disagree with. It's like, Alex, you're saying the sky isn't blue, and I disagree with that. And I never said the sky wasn't blue during the day or that it doesn't have stars in it at night. I've had a whole bunch of nuclear physicists or people on. I said that Fukushima was much worse than what they were saying. I said that the MOX 3, number 3 reactor that exploded did put a bunch of fuel rods into the air before anybody else did, because I blew the video up. Turned out that was true. There's been forms of fission going on. The isotopic readings show that. I've had nuclear physicists after nuclear physicists on, and so I don't understand what you're saying I'm wrong about.
To the point. The point is Arnie Gunnarsson, a whistleblower.
I got that. I got he's got a website, and the website's on the internet. I understand that. What I'm asking you, Ray, is what are you getting at? What am I wrong about? What did I say that wasn't true?
States, being an expert, he states the Unit 3 reactor vessel remained intact while the Unit 3 fuel pool went up.
Well, no, they admit that Reactor 3 containment vessel's breached. So, I mean, what are you saying? Fukushima's not that bad?
No.